Okay, now this downtrend began. Well, many people will say here, but it's pretty clear that it started way before that, and that's somewhere over here. Trends do have reversals, and this is a very big move from the top of that candle down here. That's 2.8 thousand pips, movement up 2, and then we go down 3.4. Now, big trends exist in every single pair. So you will rarely see a pair that's pretty flat. For example, this over here, this is the crash of 2008, I believe, and we can see it. Yes, 2008. This is the housing market in the U.S. And this didn't last very long. This was very sharp declines. Still lasted for 11 months. Now you have trends like this. Well, this lasted for a really long time. This lasted for 6 years. Now, what I'm trying to explain to everyone here is that trends are really interesting. It takes guts to trade them. It's very easy to look back into the past and say, if, when, how, if we trade on ifs, and if I teach you on ifs, you're all going to lose money. So if somebody's ever telling you something based on ifs, you're not going to go very far. No problem, Craig. Good to see you here. I was actually looking for your name. Good to have you. So, like I said, if we're trading on ifs, you'll never make money. And most people you're going to speak to in this industry are going to show you the past and tell you this is what we did here, this is what we did there, and you can't make money on the past. You can make money on what you're doing right now. You can plan for the future, and when the future becomes right now, that's when you can make money out of it. So like I said, trends last for many weeks, months, or even years. It is very well known that the most profitable market environment for FX trading is a trend. And in particular, a trend that unfolds over a medium to long-term horizon. Now, what's even more important is for you guys to know that there are much more fake outs now than there was last year or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So if you're reading a book on the financial market from the 90s, know that the markets, they're the same, but they change. I don't know if you understand what I mean. They're very. I'm very glad to have you here as well, Craig. Very happy. So, like I said, the markets are the same, but they change. Now, the reason they change is because there is no insider trading in the financial markets, in the forex. Sorry, not the financial markets, the forex markets. Insider trading doesn't exist. You cannot get arrested for insider trading. Now, at certain points, it was pretty easy to make money from the FX markets. You just needed a lot of money because there was no leverage. And to trade forex, you need, without leverage, you needed 100K minimum to just open a position. So, you needed millions just in an account just so you could trade. Now, there's many factors why it's becoming harder and harder and harder. And I believe that forex trading and stock trading and commodity trading and futures trading and so forth is pretty much the last frontier of actually making a lot of money. And by a lot of money, I mean really thousands of percentages. And I can tell you stories about people who've done this many times over. For example, there is a person that I've heard of many times, and I know this is fact because I've seen trading records. There was a person who turned a $30,000 investment into $80 million. Now, obviously, that didn't happen with one investment. That person lost for many years in a row. But just like everybody else that succeeded, he realized he had to change some things and, obviously change his mindset towards things and become more disciplined. Trading is like, when you're watching like James Bond, he's like so focused on something. He knows his mission is XYZ and he does XYZ. He doesn't go to ABC. Well, that's how trading definitely should be. It's not an easy task, but I can promise you it can be the most rewarding thing you ever do. Now, ironically, not all of us will become successful because most people in this world and in the civilized in the civilized countries believe that, well, working hard is a myth. Working hard is one of the most essential parts of becoming a successful trader and investor. Now, before I continue preaching, I'd like to give you some predictions out now. Today, I'd like to talk about a few currency pairs that I believe have enormous potential to move at least 500 pips very, very soon. Some of them have the potential to move even 1.6 or even more thousand pips. Now, that's the kind of move that can wipe out a person that doesn't use a stop loss. That's the kind of move that will kill a scalper. And that's the kind of move that will kill a non-believer either. Now, the perfect setups are starting to form right now on these trades that I'm going to show you right now. The first one that I'm going to be talking about will be New Zealand JPY. So if you have your stations ready, we can go to that together, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. We did miss out on some pretty big things already, but just like every other setup that I find and I create, they're all based on long term. So I just want you to focus on this for now here. This is what I want you to focus on. And my trade is already in, and my stop loss on this one is pretty high. Okay? Now I'm going to explain to you what I'm focusing on and what I'm looking at here, and then you can all be the judge and jury in a few weeks once this all finishes. So basically, I'm looking at a head and shoulders formation over here, a sideways head and shoulders, and these are pretty powerful in effect. I did find this before, and I did open a few trades on it, and they did make me pretty good money, but I did get stopped out because my stops were too close to the entry. So what I'm showing you here is a long-term head and shoulders formation. This took a really long time to form. Now, New Zealand and JPY, this pair normally moves very sharply, and it is very dangerous. It is a very dangerous trading pair. This is why patience is very, very important with this specific pair. And patience is the real way to make your money in this. Now, I've just told you, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, maybe 5 minutes ago, that success in trading is based on the 80-20 rule. 80% is the mindset, and 20% is the approach. Now, I've said this because it's very easy to have a winning system, and I'm just repeating this for this pair so you all understand what I'm talking about. It's very easy to have a winning system. Everyone has one. I mean, a winning system can be compiled of just a simple moving average and nothing else. Or just a clean chart and looking for setups. Winning systems are based on rules. Sometimes we have to write these rules down in order not to forget them or to follow them. It's essential to have discipline to follow these rules. And the worst thing about all of this is that most of us don't have the discipline to follow them because our lives are so quick, our finances are important, and we just want to be in every trade. And, we look at the past and we say, hell, I could have made some money there. We all could have, and we should have, but we didn't. So what I'm trying to explain to you all here is that patience, and this lesson today is going to be revolved around patience and discipline because they're very connected. Without patience, you will never achieve success in the long run. Without discipline, you won't have a trading system. Then you're just trading randomly. If you have no discipline, you're trading randomly, and I don't care what you have written down and what kind of goals you have or how much money do you need. You're trading randomly, and randomly you shall lose. So if you really want to make money in this industry, I just need you to open up your eyes. I need you to open up your ears and all of your other senses, because what I'm talking about is important. Now, New Zealand JPY is almost ready to trigger. And as a trader, you owe it to yourself to be prepared not only for this move, because this is going to be a big one, but for other moves as well. Now, because I'm saying that this is going to go down doesn't mean you have to open your positions now. First of all, I'd like you to take a look at this monthly chart here that I'm showing, and I want you to just focus at the yellow circle. Now, by focusing at this yellow circle, we'll see that price came very close to the 95% area. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, and the last time price came near this area, we had this. Now, I remember clearly telling you all this, and I'm going to always tell you this. Support and resistance levels are based on areas of interest and not price. So when you're looking for support and resistance levels, not everything has to add up. See, not everything has to add up. Never. They don't. They're just areas of interest. When price comes there, we usually wait, especially if you're looking at something long term. We wait. Many people, I bet you, once this went down here, this massive candle downwards, I bet you many people started selling more, but price shot up. We retail traders, we can't move the market. So we need to go with the market. We can't fight the market. We need to go with the market. If you have 5, 10, 20 billion in your account, you can fight the market. But even if you have 50 million in your account, it's pretty much impossible for you to fight it unless you're trading at some odd hours on some odd pairs in order for you to move it. So what I'd like you to look at is this double top formation. And I'm going to remove everything just very quickly so you can understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the 95% area, top, sharp decline, and top. This created a move of a total till now 1.9 thousand pips. Okay, so the double top you're seeing here near the 95% area is pretty important, and the market has pretty much solved off very quickly from that level and is already heading further south. I believe that price will head to the first stop to this area here, the 70 area, and that looks like nothing, but that's a lot. That's 500 pips from here, from where we are, and with 2 lots, that's about $8,000. So even a 0.1 can make you money here. Technically, we have a downtrend on our hands. We're moving into something. Well, we're moving into a bear market. So far, the strongest pair out there is the Japanese yen. It's even kicking the dollar's ass. Not by much, but it is. Just a second. I'm just going to put the Japanese yen. And I just want to look at long-term factors. As you see, we had a very long, very, very long bull market. And we have a reversal on our hands right now. I want to show you other setups that could be interesting. So you see, these are pure technical setups, but they make money. And I'm going to say this in a few minutes, but I'm going to tell you again, there is no magical pill that you're going to drink and you're going to see the market in a different way. There is no magical system that you're going to pay $300 or $3,000 or $10,000 for. There is no magical person who you're going to pay and he's going to train you. Nor, not me, not nobody else. Success in trading is about you. And I have my fingers pointed at my screen, and I really hope they're popping out of your screen, pointing at you, because your success depends on you. If you turn out to be 85 years old and you're not successful, it's your fault. Not my fault, not your parents' fault, not your friend's fault, and not the market's fault, or not your broker's fault, or not nobody else's fault. If you turn out to not achieve your goals and dreams and aspirations, Just your fault. Nobody else's. That's the first rule of success. Take responsibility for your actions. Take responsibility for tomorrow. Take responsibility for the day before. Now, like I said, technically we have a downtrend on our hands. Looking better at this chart, we find the long-term head and shoulders that I already showed you. Let's go back here, that I already showed you. I'm just going to quickly draw it so we can have it here. And you can clearly see that this month's candle started off pretty strong, and this is only an effect of big players closing out their positions. That's why price went up, but obviously they're coming back in. Volumes are pretty strong on this, and I'm just going to open up my volume just a moment. Volumes are pretty strong, especially for the sells, even on USD JPY. I believe if USD JPY reaches the 106 area and it has a sharp move downwards, I'm talking about USD JPY now. If we come to the 106 area, somewhere here, if we come to the 106 area, and we most likely will have a sharp move and we'll probably have a long-term, basically head and shoulders formation. We could, because I don't believe there will be a double bottom somewhere here unless price goes all the way down here. So yes, like I said, if price moves from current levels, which is pretty far away, you most likely will see a sharp decline, a very sharp candle, something like this over here. But again, let's speculate in the future, and that's what our job is, to try to predict the future. Now, on the left shoulder of what I'm talking about on New Zealand JPY, and I'm going to tell you why I'm more focused on New Zealand JPY than I am on USD JPY, and I'll explain it pretty soon. You can see on the left shoulder, they formed pretty early, and we've just finished up with the right shoulder. Now, the current right shoulder represents a very significant development, which was traced out a very long time. Now, this level is just right now at the 75 dollar range. So basically, the price, it should be right at 75, I think. Yeah, it's probably right there. Which is acting as a pretty strong support. Okay, the 75% level, not 75%, sorry, I keep calling it in percentages. The 75 level area is acting as a pretty strong support, and it's acted in the past over here, then it was broken, and then the last time before now it was here, not broken, here, not broken. There is a very strong chance of it breaking this. If it does, our next test is this area here, where price could not break. So this could be your stop. Let's say this is where you could take profits. This is about 500 pips away. And once you take profits there, you wait for further moves downwards. If that happens, we're looking at my take profit area, which is just about 1,300 pips away. So the gap is at 72, I think. Yeah, it should be about 70. No, it's about 70. It's 70.3. With the momentum that there is in both New Zealand dollar and Japanese yen right now, this pair could shoot right past this level. And I'm going to tell you why. The first countries to get hit this year are Canada, Australia, basically commodity countries, because they're very connected to China. China buys a lot of commodities, so does Russia, and Russia is under a lot of sanctions right now. So in any kind of recession, before the recession gets into place, the commodity countries get hit very bad. If Australian economy goes down, which it has, if the Australian economy goes down, So does New Zealand, because New Zealand is much smaller than the Australian economy, and it's very dependent on the Australians. Pretty much Australia makes New Zealand's economy, apart from the milk they export to China. So as you see, there was a pretty strong downtrend, and I actually think that this is the end of this downtrend, because we have pretty much strong supports in these areas. I'm going to speak about AUD later on, but what I'm trying to tell you is New Zealand, the New Zealand dollar is getting trashed left, right, and center. And with the momentum the Japanese yen has right now, I think it can shoot right past the 70% level, 70 level, and head straight to the 61. And it could even break that and head down to the lowest low of 45. You see, there are all types of traders in this world. There are traders who trade day trading. There are traders who hold positions for weeks and days. There are traders who hold positions for months. And then there's other guys who hold positions for years. I'm going to speak about compounding later on, so you can all understand what I mean when it comes to compounding. Do you have any questions for me about New Zealand Japanese yen? Okay, I want to break apart these two currencies, and I'm going to show you USD JPY on a weekly chart, just so I can break these currencies up a little bit. What I want you to take away from this is the appearance of a double top at 126. Okay, so just about this area here. Sorry. Okay, right here. So we have a pretty decent double top formation here. We also have a trend line which is hitting right onto this area. This is what I mean about fake outs. There are much more fake outs in today's market than anywhere else. That's why, and please listen to what I'm saying, the next time you see something like this, and even if we mail you or something like this, don't rush. We're not a pure signals provider, so we don't give you exact entries and exits and things like this. We want to teach you how to trade for yourself. This is very important, because if you rely on me or somebody else, if something happens to me or to someone else or to the company or something like this, you're done. You need to know how to make money yourself. You need to know how to take decisions for yourself, and you need to know how to protect your capital for yourself. You need to depend on yourself. So there are many fake outs in the market, plenty of them, and we saw that happen on Euro USD in that signal we gave out. I think it was this double top. Was it the double top? I forgot what it was, but it was something pretty good. Was it? I don't remember. I really don't remember. But I think we have a question here. Now I'm talking about the Euro USD trade last Thursday. I believe it was a sell. It was a sell. So yeah, okay. I would like you to direct your attention to USD JPY. What we're looking at here is a double top formation, and I don't want you to rush into anything, because I want you to focus on the current line where it is, and I want you to see that price does stagnate around these areas. So it is very dangerous to enter a trade right now. So I've highlighted the area over there, and that's 120, approximately 124, 125, let's say, even less, because it's a sideways double top. Plus, we have a weekly head and shoulders on this formation over here, and that's clearly seen, and I just want to show it to you like this. And I really wish I'd sent this out a long time ago, so you could all make money out of it, but it was This was in 2015 that this got created. So you see why you need patience, and in this kind of market you really need patience, because these kind of moves do take time to set up. So the formation of this started in 2014, December 1st, 2014. Ended on December 28th, even more, probably 1st of January, somewhere there. But the move on it, regardless of where you're taking this trade, whether you're taking it here, here, or here, let's take it for the sake of the argument over here, is still 500 something pips. Now that's worth a wait. It's always worth a wait, and especially if you have bigger capital in your account. 500 pips can be something really good, and I'm going to show you what that is with one lot. Let's say we open the position towards this area. 500 pips is 5,000, more or less. Okay, Peter is asking about AUD JPY and NZD JPY. I'm going to go to that, Peter, right now, so we can just take a look at that together. Well, I preferred sticking to the New Zealand because the Australian economy is much more connected to metals, and I haven't really reviewed this one that much. I did review AUD USD, and I'm going to speak about it pretty soon, but I prefer sticking to New Zealand US dollar. They are quite connected, but as you see, they do have different patterns. And I'm going to go on the weekly chart here as well, just for us to see there. They are similar, but not exactly similar, because we do have a double top here, a sideways one, but you know, it's I prefer sticking to New Zealand JPY. So let's go to the next thing we're talking about here. Now, just a moment, let me just go back to the USD JPY. Okay, so like I said, we're looking at the weekly chart. For you to note that the neckline on this one here pretty much shoots towards the recent lows of 116, which is somewhere about here. So the neckline of this is 116. And that's about 170 pips from the current levels, I believe, somewhere there, 170, 180, maybe just a little bit more. No, it's actually much more. It's actually 300. Okay, so now the gap between all of this is the 112 area where we are right now, approximately. And I just want to show you pretty soon what I mean with all of this. So the level we're at now is approximately the 112 area, just a little higher. This bounced off today. And the price that we would normally be targeting this, even with New Zealand JPY, when I open the monthly chart, is this level here. That's the first level we would normally be targeting. We would then possibly create a really, really strong head and shoulders formation, even stronger than what we had on New Zealand USD. If price would go down. Now, when we're looking at long-term charts, a lot of things change. We're taking in a massive time factor. When you're looking at the 4-hour chart frame, you're taking in hours. That's not a lot of data, and you remove the time element. When you're looking at the daily time frame, you're taking in a bit more element. And the longer you go, the more time you inject into price. So that means you can't trade short term. No way. It's impossible. But I'll explain this later on. So why we're not focusing more on USD JPY instead of NZD JPY? because there's much more data happening in New Zealand right now. There's so much more going on with the New Zealand dollar that I think you need to know about. Now, there's let's just go to the monthly chart on New Zealand JPY. Okay. So you see this, I just want to show you how New Zealand, I want you to, if I could give you homework and things like this, obviously I won't. But if you ever want to become better at trading or understand it a bit more, you know what? The kind of lesson I would give you to learn is to look at charts, even going to getting historical data much more, and look how charts react to certain areas, certain formations. How does New Zealand USD react? New Zealand JPY react to double tops? How does it react to recessions? How does it react to wars? When we understand currency pairs, and that's not a hard task to do. This will take you about 4 months to do. When you sit down and understand each individual pair and just focus, let's say, on 3 pairs, and most of you already do this, if you would sit down and actually study what makes those economies tick and how do they react to terrorist attacks and different things, well, you would then have a serious advantage on your hands. Now, the most interesting thing here is that all of these things, the setup here that I'm talking about, looks like it will create a very, very strong leg down. And what I mean by this is something like this, okay? Because I want you to look at similarities to this over here and this over here. There are plenty of similarities. There is no head and shoulders, even though on a weekly chart I'm pretty sure we would find one. It's probably even a shorter time frame, but never mind. So what I'm giving you here is the forecast of New Zealand JPY. I believe that price will go downwards. The first stop we will have is the 70 level. If that level gets broken, we're looking at the 62.5. This will take time, weeks, maybe even months. But when the move happens, it's going to be sharp, strong, and powerful. Now, both New Zealand and Japanese yen are currencies in currency that are strong in long-term patterns, okay? And they always go in opposite directions. New Zealand is getting very weaker, and Japanese yen is getting very strong. Both against the dollar, okay? I'm talking about the US dollar here. The New Zealand dollar is getting very weak against USD, and JPY is getting stronger against the USD. This is just a simple formation explaining you that Japanese yen, if everything continues as it is, will kick some serious ass versus the New Zealand dollar. Sorry for my expression. That's pretty much an explosive situation, and we really need to position ourselves for this kind of profits. Okay? You can really position yourself by looking at this chart on a daily basis and understanding what can happen, because there are amazing and massive potentials for profits. In fact, I'm very, very optimistic that we're going to see one of the biggest moves so far this year in this pair. I'm actually very optimistic that we're going to see one of the biggest declines. And I believe that the Japanese yen will be one of the strongest pairs in Q2 of this year. The next trade that I'm talking about is the AUD USD, and this will be much shorter explanation. I believe that price could start moving upwards, and upwards I mean to the 80 level as the first stop, which is from current price I think about 500 pips. I think that this is the next, basically the next thing that will happen. Yeah, that's for AUD USD. You can see a very, very large And I don't know if any of you know about VTOPs. It's a very large VTOP formation, which indicates that there will be a move up, which could trigger further moves down. Now this can be quite dangerous as well. We could see very sharp declines. And look, the housing market in the US was supposed to hurt the US economy, right? This is the housing market crash. Who crashed? Like which currency crashed versus who? The Australian dollar crashed versus the US dollar, even though the problem was in the US. There are many people who are saying that the dollar is going to get destroyed and that it's going to be very, very weak, but I really don't see that happening right now. I think that the dollar is going to be much stronger than the rest of the currencies. The other trade that I want to show you right now, and I'm going to do this very quickly, and I'm sorry for my session, I haven't done this in a while. I'm not feeling very, very well and not really overconfident, but there is a double top formation on Euro USD. There is also a double flag formation over here and here that we call today. I believe that price will move a little higher for Euro USD. I believe it will go a bit higher, possibly to 112.50 before making further moves downwards. I think that the dollar is going to become much stronger because there are fears of more terrorist attacks in the Eurozone and possibly in the UK as well. We have something that just formed recently, and this is a short-term on a 4-hour chart, and that is a double bottom over here, and price could continue its move up, could stagnate a little bit here before creating further moves upwards. This is a really nice double bottom. It's almost perfect. So, does anybody have any questions for me? Thanks, Craig. Okay, so I've given you 4 trades out right now. I've given you a double bottom on GBP USD, which I believe will head a little higher. Well, don't rush into it. Euro USD, up and down. New Zealand JPY, down. AUD USD, up. USD JPY, down. Now, here's what I believe, and I've told this to Craig before. I'm going to tell you 8 points which I firmly believe in. The first one is that markets are not random. And point number 1 is very well connected to point number 2. The markets are not random because they're based on human behavior, human emotions. And our human behavior, especially mass behavior, is not random. It has never been, and probably will never ever be. Which leads me to point number 3. And I've said this 20-30 minutes ago. There is no magical pill, there is no magical system, or any great grand secret to the markets. There are just many patterns that can lead to profits. Point number 4, there are a million ways to make money in the market. The irony is that they're all very hard to find. and when one's found, they're very easy to use, but they're very hard to be disciplined with. So point number 5 is that the markets are always changing and they're always the same. Just like I said, back in the past in the stock market, it was very easy to trade double tops and things like this because they were so effective. And this is how people understood them. Now, the reason they're changing is because, like I said, massive financial institutions are getting involved inside the markets in order for them to make it harder for us and easier for them to make money. No audio. Can you all hear me? Michael says he can't hear me. Okay, okay, you can all hear me. Michael can't hear me. Mr. McCoy. Okay, well, I will continue because it's recorded anyway, so I don't take up everyone's time. You'll have to excuse me. Okay, well, Michael says he still can't hear me. Okay, so point number 6 is the secret to success in the market lies not in discovering some incredible indicator or finding a magical system. Rather, it lies right within you, the trader, the investor, the individual. That's exactly where it is. It's within you. And I promise you we can find it. I just need you all to just take care when you're trading and not go wild. Last thing I want to see you guys is lose. Point number 7, to excel in trading requires a combination of talent, and talent I'm putting in as skill, and skill is created, and extremely hard work. Now this is required just for any other kind of job. Football, basketball, fighting, accounting, sales, doesn't matter. Regardless of what kind of work you're doing, if you want to be good at it and you want to excel at it, you need a combination of hard work and skill. Those people who are seeking to buy something that costs $300 or $3,000, some kind of trading system or something like this, or by following rumors and news, will never find the answer because they haven't understood the question yet. You need to understand the question before you look for the answer. You know, I've met so many people in my life who've spent thousands of dollars buying systems, paying people to train them and things like this. And ironically, none of them are successful yet. Okay, I'm just reading Michael's message. So to sum this up, success in trading requires basically a worthy goal. It requires a definite target, a definite goal where you want to be. But all of this is worthless if it is not accompanied with success in life. You can make all the money in the world, you can have everything you want, all the materialistic things, but if you can't call your life a success, you've wasted far too much time on nonsense. Now, through reading tons of books, speaking to tons of traders, and trading myself, I've become absolutely convinced that winning in the market is a matter of skill and discipline, not luck. Skill, and skill is made. Every fool can learn skill, and discipline. There's no luck involved. Now, in our next workshop, what I'm going to teach you is I'm going to teach you about charting. The best times to use charts, to find and understand trends. So basically, the next workshop will be about trends. I want to do this one for a while, and I want to teach you all which kind of charts should be used and how to use them. I'm quite rusty in speaking because I really haven't been feeling well the last couple of weeks. I've done quite a bit of traveling, lots of walking, and lots of trading. So I've been locked in a room for many hours. But I'm just gonna send you all a message right now, and can somebody send me a message, a question, anything? You can just say okay. Thank you. You guys are the best. So no, I'm not sending it. I'm not leaving yet. We will still have time. I just wanted to get an okay, just just so I can reply to you guys, because I don't know how to use the system so I can send you all a mass message, the same thing. So I just needed you guys to send a question because there is a send to all button here. So we have a question from Rick. Rick says, he's asking me, with the Fibonacci levels, after you put your fib on the chart, how do you get the window to adjust? Okay, no problem, my friend. I'm here for you, Rick. I'm right here for you. Just you can contact me whenever you like. So we go to the Fibonacci area here. We choose Fibonacci retracement. We drag and drop, and then this dotted line with the two circles on the side of it, we right-click this. Once we right-click this, we'll get this, and then we can basically choose, and within these levels here, we can write. So you can just write whatever you like. Did you get that, Rick? Very good, Rick. You're very welcome. So I have Craig here. No, Johnny. Johnny is asking. Johnny is asking if I use trailing stops. Yes, I definitely use trailing stops. Once this workshop is finished, I have a dinner to go to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press on the shield and I'm going to put a trailing stop. Because we're using this different pair, I'm going to put it for 25 and I'm going to put this for 5. For majors, Euro USD, GBP USD, Euro GBP, USD JPY, I will use 14. I'll press apply and I'll leave my stop loss in there and I'll leave my take profit I'll remove, and that's about it. That's how I use trailing stops. We have John, who's new with us here. John says it was useful information. John, I really was bad today. I'm really disappointed with myself all day. I've become a little sick because I've been overworking. So I have this hyperteratosis or something like this. Basically, my body is working 3 times faster and harder than it should. Now, the doctors told me that it's really overworking. So I'm getting really tired very quick. So I'm forgetting something sometimes. But it will just get better. I'm gonna be fine pretty soon. So it's going to be much easier for me to do these kind of things. I really tried to prepare for this one, but it didn't work out. I'm not very happy with it, but I've given you these trades out, and I can promise you this. If you're using a risk percentage of 1.5 to 2% on them, I think I gave you 4 trades out. One of those trades, if one of them works out, you're going to make 5 times more money than you lose, for sure, because your risk will be 2%. Your take profit should be about 20, 30. Kiri is asking about New Zealand USD, New Zealand JPY. New Zealand JPY. So I expected to reach the 70 level, and where was it? 62, yeah? Yes. These are my 2 entries. These are my 2 targets. Peter, the report is being created. It's already have been created, but there was about 2,000 people, and because you came in a bit late, but you're going to be receiving it. You're going to be receiving it by tomorrow evening your time. Kira, just 62. There's no reason. I like to round it up. I like to use zeros and fives. The law of 0 and 5. So yes, I believe that area. And Peter, you have a nice surprise coming for you tomorrow. So you can you're gonna start the day very nicely here. I know it's already Friday for you there, so happy Friday, and Friday evening. So I guess in about 10 hours time, you're going to have a report. I know, Lisa. Yes, that's exactly what's happening, and I've already taken action for this. I'm moving a lot of responsibility from my hands, so I don't have to do a million things, and that will make everything much easier. And thank you for the compliments and for being here. It's very important for me to have you guys here, and I'm doing this all for you. You know, I sat down here for 3 hours today just so I can analyze the markets properly and just give you something that will make you happier to be here, but even more profitable. But I want you guys to remember the 7 points, the 8 points that I'm sending you right now in the chat. You're going to have them there. Okay, you just received it, and I'm going to send them to you in an email. These are very important points. Now, I also want to mention to all of you that I've just allocated 2 extra teams to handle all of you, so they can help you with anything. So, Marco, yes, I will be sending you all the trades right now. So I'm going to send you all an explanation of what I believe will happen with the trades that I've given out, and you guys are going to receive a recording of this session so you can look it over. Now, like what I was saying is, I've allocated 3 different teams to handle all of you and to help you. These are 3 excellent individuals who have teams of 5 people working for them. Now, these people have been trained by me, and they're very, very. If you ever can't find me, I would even suggest you speak to them first before you speak to support. So I've sent you their email addresses and their Skypes. That's Stefan, Richard, and Ivana. You can see their contact information there, so you can freely get in touch with them. Yeah, Lisa, you're so right. You're so right. It already has. It already has, but it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. So what I'd like to tell you all now is the following. The next workshop, I'm going to show you how to use charting properly. You need to have assets in your life, and your asset should be your chart. You need to learn how to use it, how to look at it, how to treat it, and how to understand it, how to draw on it. So next session will be basically pretty much just revolved around the chart. There will be a lot of showing while talking. Then I'm going to teach you what kind of hours and what time frames are best to be used. In order for you to basically find trends, understand trends, and I will explain better how to enter inside trends. This is very important stuff, and this will basically pretty much maximize your returns, because what we want to do is find a couple of a couple of medium to long-term trends a year. I'm talking about between 3 and 5. We don't need more, because even one of them opened up properly can make some pretty good returns. So yeah, there's actually a couple of more things that I'm going to be teaching you about, but I forgot to talk to you about something very important, and that's I'm just going to end this workshop with this, and that's the law of compounding. The law of compounding basically states that everyday actions or decisions can either work for you or against you in a few years. So what I mean by this is, let's say you have a burger every morning. Well, actually, I'm not going to go into metaphors. You need to learn how to let those small positive actions accumulate into something that compounds itself. Okay, so I hate to burst anybody's bubble here, but there are no overnight success stories. Contrary to what the media likes to tell us every day, it takes a lot of hard work and time to actually become successful. So basically, work plus time equals success. It might not be all that hard to reach, and I promise you it's gonna be with compounding itself. So basically, a bunch of small decisions made on a regular basis can add up to something amazing. And it's going to remind you of something: snowballing, compounding, pyramiding. I mixed up the hell did I do this now? Oh my god, this silly system, I don't know how to do it. Okay, here we go. Yes, I most definitely will send you a recording. I'm sorry, I just had to arrange the chat. It was going a bit crazy. So like I said, a bunch of small decisions on a regular basis can add up to something pretty big. They can compound themselves into massive profits. And what I mean by this is pyramiding. I'm sure you guys remember. You know, nothing turns into something pretty big. You know, one lot can turn into $10,000 pretty quick. So this can work for you or against you. You know, pyramiding can either be positive or negative. Now, to show you a quick example, to show you all a very quick example of this, I just want to give you two options right now. Let's say I want to hire you all, and I'm going to give you two options of payment. I give you $1 million right now in your hand, cash, for 30 days, for a month, for you to work for me. I pay you up front. Or I give you 1 penny that doubles every day for 1 month. You obviously can all smell that this is a trick question and understand that, and I know you're not silly. And the obvious answer would be to take the penny. But why? Why should you take the penny? Although this little penny starts out small, nothing, you can't even use it. I mean, most people throw them away because they're so worthless. Exactly. The compounding effect. That's exactly what it is. This is exactly what I talk about. This is Albert Einstein's law. This guy founded the compounding effect, and he says that it's one of the greatest discoveries to ever exist. There are much more examples of this, but I'm going to finish this one like this. That penny builds up pretty slow, but by day 15, that penny is worth basically $163. You keep going to day 25, that penny has turned into 167,000. And you keep going until day 30, that result is insane. The penny would double to 5 times more than that 1 million. It turns into 5.36 million. And that's insane. That's something that everybody should do. Now, it's obviously not as easy, but what I'm trying to tell you is that little effects, little things, day by day, these sessions, one by one, they're slowly putting things in your mind. And everything that I'm talking about is positive. Everything that I'm talking about is profound. Everything that I'm speaking about has been either done by somebody else already or done by me. But I've seen it with my eyes, so I make sure that it's real and that it works. So what I'm telling you right now is that little actions can contribute into something pretty big, and that's how the law of compounding works, and that's how pyramiding works. So do any of you have questions for me right now? Oh yes, and I've just created a little project of my own that I'm going to be doing on the side. Craig, we will talk tomorrow morning. If you're free tomorrow. I know it's Easter, so maybe it's better for you to speak tomorrow. Next week. If anybody is on Facebook, the website is still not done. I'm sending you all a name that you should search on Facebook. It's basically a short name of a little project that I'm doing. It's for investing. It's going to have tips and advice, and it's basically going to be like a concierge service for investing. And I'm sure it's going to help you all. I'm sending it to you right now. Oh, Peter, I will. I really need it. It's been it's been a long day. Do you want? Okay, then, Craig, you just message me, okay, when you're back. You just message me when you're back, and I'm gonna be here till about 5 p.m. your time. If not, just message me and I'm gonna get back to you. Thanks for coming, Johnny. So once again, the teams are here. Like I said, the free teams that you all have an email from. If you guys need anything, please get in touch with them. And I'd really like for you guys to and girls to get to know each other. So do add them on Skype. I'm sure you're gonna have questions sometimes, so you don't run around. They're always there, so they can help you out. I'm gonna shut the session down now. I thank you all very much for coming, and I really enjoyed spending another evening here with you. Kato, I'm very happy to see you. I'm really happy to see you here. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Johnny, Marco, everyone. Thank you so much. Sebastian, thank you too. Have a great night. David, thank you. Thank you for coming. Francesco, very good to see you. The next one will be even better. Kira, good to see you. Have a good night. Oh, good morning. You're in Australia. Okay, so good night, good day, and good morning to you all.